Ever notice how society's so hooked on junk that eating real food is seen as dieting? It's almost as if we've forgotten what normal eating actually looks like. Now, I saw this post this morning and it made total sense to me because I found that with the way I'm eating, which is pretty much just food with just about single ingredients, and I pretty much eat an animal based diet. I find that so many other people, especially family members, see my diet and what I eat as strange, right? They see it as strange. And when I'm ever going out and shopping or whatever, like I'll look at the ingredients list and there's just, 10, 20, 30 ingredients in this one small thing, which could probably have like three. And yeah, I just find it really strange because what I found is, I mean, for reference, I've been training since lockdown, but I've only been eating pretty clean probably for the last couple years. And it has been really strange because there were lots of moments where I felt, perhaps a bit physically like, ill or just, a bit uneasy. And I didn't realize that it was a lot of the time it was from the foods I was eating, right? And it's not just, oh, it's just processed foods, but, there's so many little additives and, gums and all sorts of stuff in foods which really mess up your gut. And especially for me, it really messed up my gut. And so I wanted to eat clean. And by eating clean, what I mean is, I'm having steak, I'm having eggs, I'm having liver, I'm having mince, cheese, that sort of stuff. And that is seen as pretty strange to a few people. And I find that so crazy because, the idea of going out and, having some junk food is seen as a treat, right? And I think that's almost probably maybe being conditioned by just society and such. But yeah, just like looking at this post, like it does make a lot of sense because the way I eat, I just feel like this is the normal way to eat, right? Or at least the way people should be eating. Because at the end of the day, I think if the food that you're eating or the drink that you're drinking has like loads of different ingredients in it, most of which, or at least half of which, you probably don't really know what actually it does. You probably shouldn't be putting it into your body. And I wouldn't even call that real food. I just call it a bit of a science experiment that was left on a shelf or something. But like the whole point is that like I'm seeing obviously a lot of people just sort of unsure about diets and stuff. And I think at the end of the day, this whole idea of dieting is simply just choosing to eat healthy, choosing to just not go down the route of just mindlessly, consuming loads of junk food and assuming nothing bad happens. Right. And it's like, for example, I'll see people in like McDonald's in the morning. It's like, what are you expecting to happen to your health, to your weight, just to everything, right? So I guess really with this video, the main thing here is like if you're perhaps not eating the way you should be, or perhaps you're sort of starting or something like that, really do consider this because I think, I mean, next time you go like shopping or something like that, actually look at the ingredients just out of curiosity because there's so much stuff there which you might not know what it is. And honestly speaking, if you search it up and actually ask, search up the ingredient and then search up for dangers or possible harms, and you'll find some. You definitely will. And that's the sort of stuff where it's these little things, it's these additives, it's whatever, that could just be harming your focus, your energy, right? Your ability to concentrate, which you don't really think of, right? And I didn't really think of this a lot of the time. I just assumed, oh, I'm just tired, right? That was just it. Or, if I felt or if I felt a bit ill, or just a bit uneasy in the stomach, I might be like, oh, I feel quite full. But that was never really the case a lot of the time. I think a lot of the time it was just because I was eating foods that just had these additives in it, has had, way more ingredients that I can count on both hands. And that was just affecting me in a negative way. So hopefully this brought to you like a bit more of awareness. I think really just next time what I'd like you to do is just actually look at the ingredients of the stuff you're eating and really consider if actually this stuff is good for you, and just actually search up the ingredients, right? Search up the ingredients, search up for dangers or harms of it, and you're probably going to find some. Right now, someone I really do like watching is Paul Saladino. I think that his stuff is really good in terms of just bringing awareness to people. And when I saw this post here, I figured I'd like to also bring awareness to this as well. So Yeah, I mean, if you're someone that's actually working on your sort of body and your weight, keep going. It is a bit of a long cycle. I know for me, obviously, I started off pretty skinny back in lockdown, and it's been I don't know 6 7 years, however many years since then. But I'm still sort of working on it as well. But it's just something to enjoy the process. I think really is something to enjoy the process, and just building your self image. I think diet is really really useful, right? A lot of people put the whole emphasis on exercise, and it is good to be able to sort of, for example, go to the gym, but at the same time, just making sure the stuff you're eating is clean, it's single or few ingredient long, and keeping somewhat consistent with that, right? For me, I train 4 times a week. And in terms of the stuff I eat, I have 2 meals a day, one of which that is steak, eggs, cheese, and like a few bits of fruit. And then the second one, which is mince, liver, and a few bits of fruit as well. So hopefully you can sort of keep going at it. And yeah, I'll chat soon.